prior to moving to Mechanicsville.
I don't know if I told them that.
Okay. And that because you did stay in Bowen Homes, you were cool with a lot of the dudes in MDC. Do you recall telling Detective Gates and Detective Dennis that?
I don't recall.
Okay. What does it mean to claim a click? You said he claimed MDC. What does that mean to claim a click or claim MDC? What does that mean?
What you mean?
You said it, so I'm asking you, what did you mean? You said he claimed MDC. What does that mean?
Ask it. I don't know.
I'm asking you because you said it. So what did you mean?
That's just how I talk.
Okay, so what did you mean when you said that?
You said something about, was he YSL or something? I'm just, you know what I mean? Like, you can't tie my friends into what nobody else got going on. Like, when you speaking on gangs, you know what I mean? A gang is a gang. That shit don't have nothing to do with nothing else. I'm sorry. I didn't.
Okay,
You frustrated me up here.
That's fine. So what did you mean? I'm asking a very specific question. What did you mean when you said he claimed MDC? What does that mean to claim it?
I guess we gotta Google it then.
Mr. Copeland, she's not asking what does it mean objectively. She's asking what did you mean when you said it?
I just said it, I don't know.
Now, all right. Now, earlier we talked about you talking to Nut back in 2015. Do you recall ever meeting with Nut to give him back some items that were stolen from him?
I don't recall.
Okay. Do you recall, isn't it true that you told Detective Gates and Detective Dennis that prior to Nut passing away, that someone broke into his car and you ended up with the merchandise from his car being broken into?
I recall telling you in the back room somewhere in this courthouse that I lied, and I'm being truthful today by telling you that I made it up. So what I said to the investigators in the past, I came forward and told you that I was in the room by myself when I told you that. I don't have no reason to lie. Don't nobody intimidate me. I'm not trying to protect nobody, no nothing. But I'm not going to sit up here and tell a lie that I can't keep up with. That's just it. I don't know. Like, what you talking about?
Okay. We're going to get to what you told me, but I'm going to ask you first. Did you tell back in 2015 that you met up with Nut because someone stole some of his items and you gave him those items back?
I don't recall.
Okay. Now, speaking about what you told me, do you recall telling me and my investigator Long that it was actually you who stole the items and then you returned it back to him?
I play too much.
Okay, but do you recall telling myself and investigator Long that you actually took those items, but you then returned them?
I did tell you that.
All right. But more importantly, that you actually met up with Nut. Do you recall telling the police that you met up with Nut to give him back those items that were stolen?
I probably did.
You probably did tell the police, or you probably did meet up with him to return the items to him?
I probably did tell that to the police.
Do you have any independent memory today of you actually returning the items to Nut?
I did.
You did return those items.
I did give him his stuff back.
So that was something truthful that you told the police.
That was.
Okay.
I don't know if I told it to the police, but I told it to you.
Isn't it true you also told Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis in January of 2015 that you called Nut and said, hey, man, I got your shit right here. Pull up on me. And he came and pulled up on me. And you gave him his stuff back.
Take a little bit of lie and put it with it. Take a little bit of truth and put it with a lie. That's what I do.
And also, during this same meeting that you met Nut to give him back his stuff, you talked to him about the beef you were having with him and Kel. Well, excuse me, with you and Kel. I apologize.
Can you say it again?
Sure. In this same meeting that you gave Nut back his stuff, you and Nut talked about the beef that you were having with Kel.
So when I gave Nut his stuff back, I didn't like the way he looked at me. So we didn't have no conversation. He seen all the people I had with me. He got his stuff back, said appreciate it, and he left. So what I told investigators was, I don't know what I don't recall what I told them, but I remember giving him his stuff back, and I didn't like the way that he looked at me.
Okay. Did you remember telling Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that you and Nut had never had any beef and never had any issues?
I don't recall.
Okay. When you met with Nut, do you remember who you were with?
I ain't telling you.
Okay, so do you remember who you were with?
There was a lot of people with me.
Okay. Who were some of the people that were with you?
I can't recall.
All right. Well, you just told me that you weren't going to tell me, so...
Because I can't, it was a lot of people with me.
Okay. How many people did you have with you?
More than 5.
Okay. Did Nut have anyone with him?
I think so.
Do you remember who that was?
Yeah, I don't know them by name though. He had 2 or 3 people with him.
Okay. Do you remember telling Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that he had his brother Greedy with him?
I don't recall.
And that Greedy pulled up in the gray Impala, and then Nut pulled up in his Tahoe truck, his green Tahoe.
From what I remember was I was already talking to Nut when that great car pulled up.
Okay. And was Nut in his green Tahoe truck? Do you remember?
Damn, I can't really recall what Nut was in.
Okay.
He may have. I ain't pay attention to his car. It's just the way the other car pulled up that made me pay attention.
Okay, so did you not like how Greedy pulled up?
Yeah.
Okay. So was your issue with the way Greedy pulled up, or your issue was with Nut?
The way they did. I don't recall.
All right, while you're looking through your notes, we haven't had a break in a little while. It's probably time to at least stretch. Let's take a quick break.
Thank you.
All right, for jury.
All right, we can all take a break as well. Anybody need to say anything with the record before we do that? All right.
That's it. Nose running. That's all. Now, Mr. Copeland, we just talked about MDC, and I want to go back very quickly to the shooting at the gambling house in Lakewood. Do you remember us talking about that a little bit earlier? And when we talked about it earlier, do you recall back in 2015, in the same January 2015 interview, telling the detectives that initially you all thought it was MDC that shot at you at the gambling house?
Can you say that again?
Sure. When discussing the gambling house shooting, initially, do you remember telling Detective Gaither that initially you all thought that it was MDC that shot at you all at the gambling house?
I know MDC didn't shoot at us. Me.
And when you talked to Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis about the shooting, you actually went into some details about what happened that night of the shooting. Do you recall doing that?
What you mean?
Like telling Detective Gaither, giving them details about what happened the night of the shooting.
I remember what happened, but I don't remember what I told the police.
Okay, what do you remember happening?
Niggas was shooting at us.
Can you watch your language?
I mean, people were shooting at us.
All right. And where were you all? Where were you standing when they were shooting at you?
Outside.
Okay, and you said they were shooting at us. Who else was out there with you?
A lot of people, little kids. I can't be specific who was out there.
Okay. Do you remember telling Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that Thug was out there with you?
I don't recall.
Okay. And that the individuals started shooting from the bushes?
I don't recall where they were shooting at, but I thought they were shooting at.
Okay. And also, did you tell Detective Gaither that you ended up having to run behind a young woman who was out there as well?
I don't recall what I told the investigators.
Okay. And do you recall telling the investigators that at the Cascade skating ring, you confronted Kel about them shooting at you all from the bushes?
What happened in Nut got nothing to do with YSL. This some shit, excuse me language. This got everything to do with threat. You know what I mean? I was trying to protect threat from the get-go. You know what I mean? Threat, and they had some more stuff going on. Like,
was Threat at the gambling house when it got shot up by Kel?
Young, you said nothing I say can be used against me?
That's right.
Me and Threat shot up Rich Homie Coin Daddy Barbershop on Bankhead. I don't know what happened with Threat and Rich Homie Coin, but I'm a ride with my brother. And they was beefing. And yeah, we put up and did that.
Okay. And as a result of, why did you and Threat shoot up Rich Homie Quan Daddy's barbershop?
Because I'm a ride with Threat.
Okay. Did Threat tell you why he was shooting
I
up
don't
the
ask no
barbershop?
questions. I just say let go.
And when Rich Homie Quan's barbershop was shot up, was that in September of 2014? Do you remember?
I don't know when. I know we went up there and shot it up.
Okay. Was it before Nut was killed?
Yes.
Do you remember what happened the day that you and Threat shot up Rich Homie Quan's daddy's barbershop?
What you mean?
Like, do you remember that day? What led up to you going to the barbershop and shooting it up?
I told him let go do it.
What led up to you saying, let's go do it? Why?
Threat was mad. He was like, he fucking keep scaring my language. He was talking, playing like we somebody to play with. And I was ready. I had them choppers on deck.
Why was Threat beefing with Rich Homie Quan to shoot up his daddy's shop?
Cause we didn't know where he was.
So did you go to the shop looking for Rich Homie Quan?
Nah, we went to send a message.
What time did you go and shoot up?
I ain't telling you that.
Okay. Was it in the morning?
It was at night.
To your knowledge, did anyone send Threat to go shoot up Rich Homie Quan's daddy's shop to send a message?
No, he said what he said, and I told him let's go do it.
Okay. You said that you all went to go send a message. What message were you sending?
We ain't the ones to play with.
Okay. Did something happen between Rich Homie Quan and Threat prior to you all having to go send a message?
Yeah, but I don't know nothing about it.
So how do you know something happened if you don't know anything about it?
Because I can't say for facts if it's the truth.
Now, did this shooting of Rich Homie Quan's daddy's barbershop start the beef between If Gang and YSL?
The beef was never between If Gang and YSL.
Okay.
The beef was between me, Threat, and Shell Kell. Rich Homie Quan. Because they were trying, Shell Kell was trying to ride Rich Homie Quan. The streets threw YSL into what me and Threat had going on.
Well, that takes me back to the shooting at Lakewood, right?
Can you repeat that?
Sure. You just said that the streets brought YSL into what you and Threat had going on, correct? That's what you just said?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Is that a yes for the record?
Yes, my bad.
So going back to the shooting at the gambling house, when you learned that Shell Kell was the one who shot up Thug's vehicle, did you and Shell Kell squash your beef when the two of you met at the Cascade skating rink?
Nothing I say could be used in no courtroom,
That is correct.
federal or state.
Is that the parameters of the immunity or?
Nothing can be used.
Correct.
And what your question was?
When you and Shell Kell met at the Cascade skating rink, did the two of you shake hands and say that the beef was over when y'all met at the Cascade skating rink?
I pulled a gun out on him
At the Cascade skating
at the
rink?
Cascade skating ring.
Okay. Well, who'd you pull it out on?
Shell Kell.
And once you pulled the gun out on Shell Kell, what happened?
I had somebody with me that I didn't want to get caught up in my bullshit, my shenanigans.
Who was with you?
I can't recall.
Well, if somebody you just
I
said,
can't remember who it was with me.
okay. So how do you know you didn't want them caught up in your shenanigans?
Because I wasn't fit to put nobody else in my. I just wasn't gonna do that.
Okay. So after you pulled the gun out on him, did you shake hands with him to say that the beef was over between the two of you?
Nope.
Okay.
I pulled the gun out and let him know I could have got you right now.
Okay. And you didn't shoot him?
No, I didn't.
All right. So did you tell the police Gaither and Dennis back in January 2015 that you and Shell Kell shook hands and said that the beef was over and y'all two were laughing about it?
Well, I'm talking to the police, so I'm not going to tell them what actually took place. If I knew that y'all was going to do what y'all doing today, I wouldn't never even did what I did.
Okay. And then after you told the police that you all shook hands, you told the police that Kell wanted you to FaceTime Thug.
Thug had nothing to do with what we had going on.
But that's not what I'm asking you, Mr.
I'm
Corporal.
telling you the truth.
Did Kell shoot Thug's car the night that the gambling house was shot up?
Everybody could got shot up, and I can't say if I never seen who actually did it. To say that it was Kell who did it.
Okay. Was Thug's car one of the cars that was shot up the night that the gambling house was shot up?
My car was shot up, and a few other cars. I didn't see Thug cars because once I came from behind the wall, everybody was scared of pulling off.
So is your response that you don't know if Thug's car was shot up?
I don't recall if his car was shot. I doubt it was shot up because I seen it a couple days later or whatever.
Did you tell the police that when back in this January interview with Gaither and Dennis, that when Kell asked you to FaceTime Thug, you FaceTime Thug and said, hey, Salam, the beef over with. So Thug was like, yeah, it's over with. And then Kel got on the phone and Thug started talking. And Thug said, the beef ain't over with until you pay for my window. You shot my window.
But I told you I'd make anything up if I'm talking to investigators.
Okay. And they clarified and they asked you, is that what Kel said? And you said, no, that's what Thug told Kel.
It don't take a rocket science to come up with. I don't recall what I told investigators. I know I wasn't going to tell them that I put a gun on Sheriff Kill, and if I didn't have certain people with me, I was going to do something to them.
Okay. And that, furthermore, you said, you told Detective Gaither and Dennis, yeah, he shot Thug's window. So Thug, like, I don't care about none of that, about what you all have going on. You still shot at me. Just pay for my window. If you don't pay for my window, hey, man, I ain't letting nothing go. I looked at Kel and said, that's between y'all two. Do you recall telling Detective Gaither and Dennis that?
You know, I don't need to talk like that.
All right. And then afterwards, they hung up from FaceTime, and Kel's like, nah, man, call Nut. And so you and Kel started talking, and you told Kel, just pay for the window. This shit over. And Kel's like, pay for the window? This nigga just tried me. Did you tell the police that that's what Kel told you after he got off the phone with Thug?
When I pulled that gun out on Sheriff Kill, I said, I could have got you. He went his way, and I went mine.
Okay. Do you recall telling Detective Gaither and Dennis that you actually did shoot at Kel's house back in June of 2015? In the interview in June of 2015, you actually told the police that you shot at Kel. Do you not recall that?
No, I don't.
Okay. So
I don't think I got a chance to get him.
You said that. You told the police you shot in the air, but Kel was around. Do you recall telling the police
Can you
that?
say it again?
Sure.
I shot in the air, but what?
I'm going to object to this statement of what he said. It was just represented that he told the police he shot at Cal, and now it's being represented. He's told the police he shot in the air, so Cal was around.
All right, well, that may be something he told the police too. I don't know. She can ask about it and he can answer whatever his recollection is of what he said to the police.
Well, I just don't think it's appropriate.
Go ahead. Okay, well, that is true. So make sure that you have a basis for your questions.
Yes, I do, Your Honor. Looking at those pictures, did you also speak to detectives in June of 2015?
June? Yes.
Okay. And during that interview, do you recall telling the police that you actually did shoot at Kel, but you told them that you actually shot in the air, but Kel was around?
I love God too much to be shooting at him.
Okay. Do you recall telling the police that you shot in the air?
No, I don't even recall ever shooting in the air.
Okay. Now I want to go back to the January 28th, 2015 interview. Do you recall telling the detectives that you told Kel, you got a problem with Thug, you don't have a problem with me. That's over with, and y'all shook hands?
Yeah, I don't recall what I done told the investigators.
Okay. Now, in the same 2015 interview with Gaither and Dennis, after you spoke with them, Gaither and Dennis, about what led up to the shooting on the highway, do you recall giving them more detailed information about the shooting on the highway?
What you mean?
Sure. Let me ask you this. Do you remember how long your interview was with Gaither and Dennis?
They questioned me so many times.
Okay. Do you remember the interview being approximately 3 hours?
Probably so.
Okay. And in the course of that interview, do you recall talking to them about a number of different things?
I don't recall.
Okay. In speaking with Gaither and Dennis about the shooting on the highway, do you recall being at a pool party before the shooting occurred on the highway?
No.
Okay. Isn't it true that you told Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that you all were at someone's home or at the pool party and you were getting ready to leave when you saw Booshi, Booshi, get on the phone prior to you leaving the party?
I don't recall what I told the investigators.
Okay. And you actually thought Booshi might be setting you up?
She know better.
Okay. But did you think, okay, did you tell the detective you thought that she might be setting you up?
I don't recall what I told the detectives.
And you thought that Booshi might be setting you up because her family was friends with Nutt's family?
I don't know who her family friends with. I don't even know who her family is.
Do you recall them saying in that same interview that once you all left the party, you all got on the highway and you got near, I believe it was Atlanta Medical Center back then? And that's the area where the shooting occurred on the highway.
Can you say that again?
Sure. That after you left the pool party, you and I believe Shannon got into a car and you all left, and the route that you took was near Atlanta Medical Center.
Oh, I don't recall what I told the investigators. The truth of the matter was I was trying to protect my friend. Threat.
Okay. Were you trying to protect Threat when you all were getting shot at on the highway?
I don't recall what you talking about.
Okay. Was Threat in the car with you when you were getting shot at on the highway?
I don't recall.
Do you remember telling the detectives that you reached out to Yet Gotti because he was dating Booshi at the time, to tell him you thought that Booshi set him up?
I don't recall.
And when you spoke to Yak and you confronted him and said, your girl just set me up, he responded to you and said, who? Booshi? And then he told you he was going to call you back. He hung up. He called back and said, she doesn't know what you're talking about, that she didn't set you up.
I don't recall.
Now, earlier we talked about who you hang with, or back in 2015, who you were hanging with back in January of 2015. And did you tell detectives in this same January interview, Detective Gaither and Dennis, that outside of Shannon and Little D from Mechanicsville, you're not going to see them hanging with anybody else?
I don't recall what I told him.
Did you also tell them that there's not going to be one time that you don't see you and Little D together, no matter what?
I don't recall what I told investigators. But Ladi is not he don't have my life, he not like me. Ladi is a pretty boy, he for the girls.
Okay, so when you say he's not like you, what do you mean?
I don't recall.
Okay, so why did you just say that?
I don't recall.
Okay. So when you say he's like the girls, what do you mean?
He's a pretty boy.
Okay.
He's not a troublemaker.
Oh, okay, so what does that mean? Why did you tell me that?
Ladi was only around for the girls.
Okay. So when he got beat up in the club, was that only for the girls?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
So if he's only about the girls.
Ladi is not a fighter. He's not a shooter. He's just a pretty boy.
Okay. Are you aware of Little D shooting at people's houses after he got beat up in the club in April of 2015?
No, Ladi don't know how to shoot no gun.
Okay. Were you aware of him being convicted for that?
Cause Ladi wanna be something that he ain't. So he probably took a charge. Ain't no telling.
Now, are you familiar with a person by the name of Trevia?
Who?
And Trevia?
I don't know who that is.
Okay. Do you know of Moontung having a girlfriend named Trevia?
Oh, the girl. Yeah, I know who. I don't know her. I know who you're talking about.
Okay. And Trevia, was she at one point in time also dating Shell Cal?
That's her.
I'm asking you.
I don't recall.
Okay. Do you recall telling the detectives about Trevia and about the issues you had with Trevia yourself?
I ain't had no issues with her.
Do you recall telling the detectives about Moontung and Shell Cal getting into an argument at Club Crucial?
We grown, we men, we ain't doing no arguing, especially not over no girl.
Okay. Do you recall telling Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis?
I would tell them anything.
And that their argument wasn't over a girl?
I don't recall.
Okay. Earlier you talked about pulling a gun out on Shell Cal. Do you recall telling me that a few moments ago?
Yes.
All right. In this same January, excuse me, I thought it was in June, but in this same January interview, do you recall telling Detective Gaither that you actually told Shell Cal that you almost shot at him and that you could have killed him if you wanted to. You actually told Detective Gaither.
If I got a chance, I would have.
Okay. But did you tell Detective Gaither that you told Shelkel that you almost shot at him?
I don't recall.
Okay. And that you actually told him, I was this close to you, but I could have killed you if I wanted to.
No, I don't recall.
Okay. And that's when you told him, I ain't shoot at you, but I shot in the air. If I would have shot you, I could have got you.
You said it again?
Sure. Do you recall telling Detective Gaither that you actually did tell Shelkel that you almost tried to shoot at him, but that you ended up shooting in the air?
I don't recall.
And that you told him, I would have shot you. I could have gotten to you, bro.
Anytime he got shot at? No, I don't recall.
And even when you told Detective Gaither that you intended to shoot at Shelkel, were you arrested that day at all?
Because I'm not telling on myself.
But you told her what you told Shelkel, which was that you were shooting at him.
I told her lies because I knew she wouldn't be able to go back and I knew she wouldn't go back and get nothing to prove that what I said was true.
Okay, but you just told this jury that you did try to shoot at Shelkel, so that wasn't a lie, correct?
No, I put a gun out on her. It's a difference.
Okay. Now, after January 28th, did you then go back to the police department in February 20th after you, your daughter, and your child's mother were shot at when you were coming out the house?
They took me down there.
Okay. And when they took you down there, did you speak with the police?
I had no choice.
And did you tell them what happened to you?
I told them different stories.
What do you recall happening the day that you, your child, and your child's mother were shot at?
My child was crying. She wouldn't stop crying. We was taking her to the hospital. We came out the door. Somebody was out there waiting. And then what happened?
Okay. When you went to come out, child, where were you?
Carver home.
Okay. And where were you taking your baby?
To the hospital.
And today, do you recall which hospital you were taking her to?
I think Scott is right. This one that I used to always take her to.
Okay. And once you walked out the house, what do you remember happening?
I look around. I seen the car sitting at the stop sign, just sitting there. I walked towards the car. I walked towards my car and I grabbed my baby mama's hand and pulled her closer to me. And the car pulled out like if it come, like they were trying to figure out which way they wanted to go. Then they turned my way. I told her to get down. I pulled the gun out, put my baby behind my back because she was in a car seat. I pulled my gun out. I can't remember if I threw my child in the back seat with my baby mama or if I just held her behind my back. But the car rolled on side of me. I seen all the windows up and I didn't just want to shoot anybody out for paranoia. So I waited. They rolled up, let their window down and tried to shoot. And I shot all in their car.
And what happened after you shot at their car?
I ran around grabbed my baby mama out the back seat, told her to duck behind me as we tried to go back into the apartment, and they got out the window and tried to shoot. They shot, and I shot back at them again, and then the car started making a lot of noise. They ran into a house. They jumped out, and I shot at them some more. Then the neighbors, somehow we couldn't get in, but she got in, and we ran. The neighbors was in their house.
And the neighbor, the house you ran into, were they initially outside as well when the shooting first started? Do you remember?
I think it was, but I can't. It was so fast. I wasn't caring about them. My only mind was on my kid and my baby mom.
And when that occurred, did you feel the need that you had to protect your child and your child's mother?
That's my job.
And that's why you shot back?
That's my job.
Okay. And once everything occurred, did you wait for the police to come to tell them about what happened?
No, I was trying to dip, but when I came out, the police came so fast. Shit, they caught me.
And when they caught up with you, did you tell them everything you just told the jurors right now while you were still on the scene, still back at Carver Homes?
No, I lied and said that somebody named Tay was shooting back at them. Okay. And when he said he gonna call Gator, whatever her name is, I knew she was gonna be like, which Tay? So I just went ahead and told him I was shooting back.
Okay. So when you went down to the police department and you spoke with the detective, do you recall initially not wanting to tell them who shot at you or who you saw shooting at you?
So, I mean, I tell it over and over and over and over and over that I never saw no one face. I to this day, I still never saw no one face. The detectives, they pressured me. They kept asking me. I didn't know nobody. And then the next day they wanted the gun. They gave me 24 hours. I didn't get them the gun. They locked me up. And when they locked me up, they put me on isolation. They wouldn't let me out the room. I was going crazy. I was thinking about when nobody out there to protect my baby mom and my child. I was losing it. Shit, I was going crazy in that room. So I just went putting things in my head, and I was requesting to speak to the police so I could say anything to get out, so I could get out there and do what I know.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to the interview now on February 20th, 2015, and looking at those state's exhibits. Can you find the one that's February 20, 2015?
It's right in front of me.
And is that the one that you and Deshaun were in the interview room together?
Yes.
All right. And do you recall there being times in the interview that the detectives left and you and Deshaun were in there by yourselves?
I can't really say how that interview went because the police don't question me so many times.
Okay. And in that interview, initially, did you even tell that first detective that it was Tay who shot you?
No, I don't know which. It was so many of them. I just know when I was still in Carver Home, to the police so I could say anything to get out, so I could get out there and do what I know.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to the interview now on February 20th, 2015, and looking at those state's exhibits. Can you find the one that's February 20, 2015?
It's right in front of me.
And is that the one that you and Deshaun were in the interview room together?
Yes.
All right. And do you recall there being times in the interview that the detectives left and you and Deshaun were in there by yourselves?
I can't really say how that interview went because the police don't question me so many times.
Okay. And in that interview, initially, did you even tell that first detective that it was Tay who shot you?
No, I don't know which. It was so many of them. I just know when I was still in Carver Home, I tried to go outside to get the key from the car because I had already left the car running, and Deshaun dropped her purse, which had the key in it. So I was trying to go get the key, and then that's when the police caught me. And the first police that came up, he didn't know me, and I didn't know him, so I just told him anything. But when he was like, they getting the gang unit here, I was like, shit. because the gang unit know everybody I know. So I just told them I shot back.
Okay. And even when you told me you shot back, you did not get arrested for shooting back at Tay, or excuse me, shooting back at the cars that shot at you.
Right. So when I went ahead and admitted that I was shooting back, they searched me. And then he was like, okay, man, you're not under arrest, whatever. So he's like, we just want to take you down for question. I'm like, but if me and my baby mama got shot up, why you only taking me? If you're going to lock me up, just going to lock me up. And then one of the police because the police put like his handcuff. And he was like, nah, we don't need that. Told him put the handcuffs up. And he's like, man, come. So I like, do I got to go? He like, yeah, because I got to get your statement. So I'm like, well, why she? And he like, she could come too.
Okay. And the both of you all went to the police department.
He took us down there.
All right. And she wasn't arrested and you weren't arrested when you went down there.
No, we wasn't.
All right. And during that interview, do you recall them trying to find out from you who was the person that shot at you?
That's what he kept asking. I don't recall, but I know that's what he kept asking.
And you were concerned about telling them because you were concerned about snitching.
No, at that point, I didn't give a fuck about, excuse me, sorry. I didn't care about nothing or nobody walking this earth.
Okay. During that interview, do you recall the detective? And let me actually just strike that. The person who interviewed you, was it Detective Thorpe?
I don't have a clue who it was.
Okay. Do you remember being Detective Gaith or Detective Dennis?
I remember them saying that the gang unit gonna come question me. I don't remember. I don't even know if they questioned me about this. I can't remember.
Okay. Do you remember the detective asking, or didn't the detective ask you, do you recognize anybody in the car that tonight this evening shot at you? Do you recognize anybody? And Deshaun says, I couldn't see their face. He asked you, you recognize who it is. I'm just waiting on you to be real with me about it. And you said, it won't stop it. And he says to you, so you saying the loyalty, not knowing who was out here shooting at your baby mama and your baby ain't going to stop it? Because you can't sit here and tell me today who you recognize as a person who was shooting at you. And then you continue to say, I didn't do nothing. I didn't kill nobody. I didn't shoot one of them. I haven't done nothing to them. I honestly haven't. They've been shooting up. I haven't retaliated not one time. I'm going to tell you why I haven't. Because I feel like police out to get me. Gaither called me. Guess what? They can call me. I put all my pride to the side. I put a lot of faith in her to handle. I'm sorry. And I put a lot of faith in her to handle this. And guess what? It's still going on. And he says to you,
Your Honor, it's just a continuation of where you testified. There's no question.
All right. Where's the question?
that he was concerned about snitching. Were you concerned about snitching?
No, I'm not. I wasn't concerned about snitching. It's more about getting whoever did that. So if I had to throw the police out by saying anything for the person who actually did do it, I don't want the police to know who did it because you shot me while I got my child. Fuck jail.
Okay. Do you recall telling the detective that one of your cousins was getting tortured now because people thought that he had snitched?
What I'm trying to do to people who shot at me and my child, I ain't trying to see them in jail.
Okay, but did you tell the detectives, again, you were concerned about being labeled a snitch?
I don't. If that was the case, then I wouldn't be a snitch.
Isn't it true that you told the detectives, your cousin, he's getting shot at, all this because they think he snitched? I'm already going through enough about something I didn't do. And I know if I was to tell you what was going on, as much as I know, they're going to be on the records and all this here, and you got to get him locked up, and he going to get his discovery package. First thing you're going to do is send the two places, to the street and to prison, and float it all around the city of Atlanta, and then all around prison. But my name's over that. I'm not going out that way. No, I'm not going through none of that. Look, they shot at me, my girl, and my baby. Almost shot my face off as we were running. I'm not for sure, but I thought I heard one of the bullets hit the car seat and grazed the car seat. I don't know.
I've been to jail so many times that I know whatever I say to the police will be in black and white. They have me no concern about being labeled a snitch or being concerned about being labeled a snitch. The way I live and the way my mind set up is, I don't care how nobody label me. Like I told you, somebody shot me while I got my child.
Okay. And with that, the detective tried to encourage you to tell who you saw, and you would not. Is that true?
My right hand to God, Detective Gator told me who shot at me. She asked me, did I see one of the people? And when she said that, I was like, I didn't see this boy, no nothing. First thing came to my mind, why you bring his name up? I didn't know no blood was in the car. I didn't know nothing. And when they told me that and she brought his name up, I knew who shot at me then.
Didn't you send to Detective Gaither, and the day after this interview, a picture of the person who shot at you in the car?
Tay never shot at me.
Okay, but
There was a throw off.
But you sent her that picture, correct?
I can't recall. If I did, I probably did. But my whole motive was to get who, in my heart, like I said last time, and to this day right here, I have seen Tay after the fact, and I didn't do nothing to him because I knew 100% fact that this boy didn't shoot at me or do nothing to me. The pressure that the Atlanta police put on me was just like to say anything at this point, because at the end of the day, I know this boy ain't shoot at me. Y'all went to lock them up and charge him. The DA office called me, and when I was in, they didn't call me, they called Deshaun. When I was in jail, and they was talking to her, and they was saying something about trial. I told them people on the phone while I was in jail back in whatever year that was, that he wasn't the person that shot us. I'm not protecting him. And to this day, he's out wherever he at. I'm not protecting him. I never saw him shoot at me.
Okay. In the same February 20th interview, do you recall there being a period of time when the detective left the room and it was only you and Deshaun in the room speaking?
I don't recall nothing that took place in the interrogation. But as we speak today, I'm telling you what I recall. When they shot at me with me, Deshaun, and my child, I remember every second of that night. I still see it every night I go to sleep. I still want this it.
And is it true that in the same February interview, when Detective Curry left the room, it was just you and Deshaun, you said to her, this shit not going to work. Sit right here and be a damn snitch, so I'm going to keep going. And she says to you, why are you saying, why are you acting like you did? I didn't. They want me to say I did. Well, you should just said no. I thought you know all of them. And you said, I do know who it was. You were just saying you didn't know what to say. I did. When he jumped out the car, I know exactly who I saw. And she said, who? And you said, this shit got my blood pressure up. I think they be walking somewhere right here or something with the police right here. They had to be walking somewhere. They could have ran up to the car. And then you say, it's Tay and them. Do you recall telling Deshaun that when it was just the two of you in the room?
I don't recall saying that, but I have watched First 48, and any of my family members will tell you, I don't never watch police all day. Any movie, I just watch and learn how they operate. When that police left out, I knew they were still recording us. Like I said, I like it.
So if you told the detectives, I don't know who shot me, why didn't you just continue to say that if you knew the cameras were running? Why did you just tell Deshaun that knowing that the cameras were running?
Because my whole motive is to convince the police that I'm going to tell them the truth.
But you already convinced them, according to you, by telling them you didn't know who shot you, correct?
But you got to understand the difference, like how you put pressure on me now. You keep applying pressure. You know what I mean? Like at this point, I'm liable to say anything. But the truth of the matter is, I don't know who shot at me until Detective Gator said one of the boys' name. And when she said one of the boys' name, she said blood. And when they locked me up the next day, I was in what's name, and one of the boys came in like, he just came from Cub home, and they found he told me some stuff that happened that I was like, what? I put two and two together, and that's how I knew who shot at me.
Was Detective Gaither in the room when you were talking to Deshaun?
I don't know. Like yeah, I'm talking about the whole time frame. When that investigator questioned me, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't, I know Tay personal. Like, I'm not gonna tell you nothing about what me and Tay had going on, but y'all know, like, I know Tay didn't have nothing to do with me getting shot at.
Matter of fact, you just said you knew Tay. Didn't you tell Detective Curry that Tay had just been at your house a few days before the shooting?
Exactly. I invited him there.
Exactly. And you told the detective that that's how you knew who he was, because he had been to your house.
You want to tell you why I invited Tay to my house? I'm not even gonna do him like that. No, I'm not telling y'all that.
Okay. I'm not asking you to tell me anything. I'm asking you, were you concerned about snitching, which is why you did not want to initially tell Detective Curry who shot at you?
Objection, asked and answered.
Sustained.
After, in that same February interview, once Detective Curry left the room and you had an opportunity to talk to Deshaun, do you remember Detective Curry coming back into the room and speaking with you some more?
I don't recall how the interrogation went.
Okay.
I don't recall.
Do you recall being concerned that there was a whole gang after you because they thought that you had killed Nut?
I wouldn't be in the streets if that was the case.
Didn't you tell the detective at this February 20th interview, I can't run from it. It's a whole gang after me. Different niggas every day. It could be different niggas every day. Every day.
I was telling the investigators anything where I could be a victim, because if I caught one of them down bad, I'd be justified.
When you say caught them down bad, what does that mean?
Self-explanatory.
It's not. If you can tell me, what does that mean?
I don't recall.
Okay, so why did you just say that?
I don't know.
Okay. And in February of 2015, when you had this initial interview after you and your child mother was shot at, did you just want the police to do their job and find out who killed Nut so that people would stop coming after you?
Can you say that again?
Sure. In February of 2015, when you had this initial interview, did you just want the police to do their job so that people could stop coming after you? You wanted them to find out who killed Nut so people could stop coming after you.
You saying, did I say that?
Yes.
I guess I don't recall. I think so. I don't know.
Okay. Were you tired of people coming after you thinking that you killed Nut?
I was tired of getting shot at.
Okay. And were you getting shot at because people thought you killed Nut?
Speculation.
Sustained.
Did you believe that you were getting shot at because people thought you killed Nut?
Well, I was getting shot at before that.
I'm talking about in January 2015.
I never got shot at in January 2015. I think I got shot at in February or something like that.
When you were shot at and while you were in the car, was that in January 2015?
I don't recall. The only time I remember getting shot at is when I had my daughter. That's the only time I think I got shot at, if I'm not mistaken. After Nut got killed.
And you said you don't recall the time on the highway.
I don't remember if it was before or after he got killed. I told you I've been shot at a lot.
Now, you said that you finessed them because they wanted the gun that you used to shoot back at the individuals who shot at you. What happened to that gun?
How do I know?
What did you do with the gun after you shot at them?
What gun?
The gun that you used to shoot at the individuals who shot at you.
I don't know nothing about no gun. I don't recall.
Okay. Did you just testify a few moments ago that while your baby was in your hand, you took the gun and shot at these individuals who shot at you?
Oh, I told them I throw that gun in the woods.
Who did you tell that to?
The police, they caught me there that night. And they went to search the woods and they said they couldn't find it.
All right. Did you tell the detective who you were interviewing with that the gun was back at home and that you were going to go get the gun and bring it to them?
Yes, I think I told them that.
Okay.
I told them if they let me go, I'd bring the gun back.
And that specifically, you won't call Gaither and give Gaither the gun?
I don't know if I said that, but I probably did.
Okay. And did you ever give Gaither the gun?
No.
Why not?
Is you crazy?
They asked you for the gun. Why didn't you give it to her?
I knew I wasn't going to get another gun from the start.
Okay. Did you eventually explain in June of 2015 the reason why you never gave Gaither the gun?
What you mean?
When you were interviewed in June of 2015, did you tell Gaither why you never gave her the gun?
I don't know.
Okay. Did you tell Gaither in June of 2015 that you never gave her the gun because it was Shannon's gun?
What I'm going to do with Shannon gun?
Okay. Did you recall telling her that?
Ain't no telling. I probably did.
Okay. And that Shannon took the gun with him while he was on tour with the...
No, I don't. I tell Gaither anything.
Okay.
Just like I would tell the rest of the police. But as today, as in the truth of what happened was, I hid the gun in the neighbor house. And they bathroom up under the sink.
So why wouldn't you just tell Gaither that you hid the gun?
Because they're going to lock me up for the gun. I ain't supposed to have it.
Okay. But you had already told her in January 2015 that you had a whole chopper. You didn't get arrested for having a chopper. So why would you get arrested for having this gun when you were protecting yourself from being shot at?
Because they don't matter what I tell them. They know I had guns, but it's what they catch me with.
Okay. And didn't Gaither and the detective who interviewed you the night that you were shot at told you that you wouldn't get in trouble, they just need the gun?
Yeah, but I don't let a fool go for it.
Okay. Now, when you were talking to the detective back in this February 20th interview, do you recall him asking you questions about Tay and where Tay was from?
Which Tay?
The Tay that you initially said shot at your car.
Oh, I don't recall.
Shot at you and Deshaun.
I don't recall.
And that Deshaun actually told the police that he's either from Mechanicsville or he's from Simpson Road.
Deshaun ain't tell them nothing.
Okay. And matter of fact, Deshaun, when they asked him how old is Tay, Deshaun told them,
Overruled, because I think it's as to, let me hear the rest of the question.
sure, during this entire,
How's he supposed to know this?
because he's present in the room when
Okay.
she's telling him.
All right, I'm going to overrule it.
In this same interview, Deshaun was able to tell the detective that this individual by the name of Tay was about 20 years old.
I don't recall Deshaun saying nothing to the police other than she ducked down.
And that matter of fact, you actually told the detectives that you used to hang out with this Tay before he shot at you.
I tell the detectives anything to get them up off me.
And specifically told him that you and him used to play basketball at Carver High School. The two of you used to play basketball on the basketball court at Carver.
I don't recall.
Miss Hilton, we're going to need to, it doesn't have to be right this minute, but pick a stopping point sometime in the next 20 minutes or so.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor. You said earlier that you weren't concerned about being labeled a snitch. Is that fair to say?
Say that again?
Earlier, a few moments ago, you said you weren't concerned about being labeled a snitch. Is that fair to say?
I wasn't.
You was not.
What you mean?
That you didn't have any concerns being labeled a snitch. Is that correct?
I don't get what you asking.
Back in 2015, were you concerned about people labeling you a snitch?
I was concerned about the safety of my family, so that's my mindset back then.
I'm asking you, were you concerned about being labeled a snitch?
A snitch is someone who tell the truth to the police.
Okay, so were you concerned about being labeled a snitch?
I was concerned about getting those who wrong me and the people I care about.
In the same February interview, did you tell Detective Curry, I went down here and I talked to her. Now everybody, excuse me, let me stop that. Did you tell Detective Curry during this interview, how could I survive this? How could I survive this? I can't go anywhere if I don't have money. Because Gaither called my phone when I was in front of Young Thug. She wanted me to talk. She wanted me to come down and talk. You feel me? Everybody there, everybody right there. You feel me? That's what I did. I left, went down here and talked to her. Now, everybody look at me like I'm a snitch now. It's just like I can't get no money. You know, I was just getting money by just doing nothing. Hey man, I need to borrow this right here, just hanging around going for the mall. He paid for everything for me. And now they think I'm a snitch.
First of all, I was breaking in the stove, so I'm always get me some money. That's what I'm gonna do. So what I told the investigators is just anything. I keep telling you that. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay. So my question to you is, were you concerned back then about being labeled a snitch?
I was playing the victim card. I keep telling you that. It was about being labeled a snitch, because if I was concerned about being labeled a snitch, I would never even try to finesse my way out of no situation, because even lying to the police, y'all to put it in there as in this and then third. I know anything that I say to a police officer, they're going to go into a police report anyway. So it's self-explanatory. I only cared about getting myself out of the situation to protect my family. That's it.
And is that why you're changing your testimony here today?
I'm not changing my... I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Because you're concerned about being labeled a snitch?
Miss Hilton, the damn world called me a snitch. You think I'm only concerned about telling the truth today? I don't know what nobody else did, but I do know that I have lied on people, and I don't want that on my conscience. So today I'm sitting here telling you the truth. I told you the truth before y'all called me in this trial. I told y'all I have made it up. I told y'all that. I wasn't going to say anything about nothing to hurt my friend. My friend was strict. I was only protecting him.
So when you told the detectives about what happened the night of Donovan Thomas's murder, were you protecting Threat?
Yes, I was gonna keep Threat name out of it as much as possible.
Did Threat have something to do with Donovan Thomas's murder?
I don't know what Threat got something to do with it, but I know that there was the last person I gave that car to.
What car?
The Infinity car. And I wasn't gonna say nothing about it.
What Infinity car did you give to Threat?
The Infinity car that I had.
Okay. Is this the same car that you went to the rental car place with Thug and Thug rented the Infinity?
I'm talking about the gray Infinity car that me and Zachary was riding in. I wrecked the car, put up on Threat, gave the car to Threat, and I left.
Okay. Is this the same Infinity that you told police that you went to the Hertz rental car place with Thug when he rented the Infinity?
I just told you that I gave Threat that car.
Ms.
I don't know.
Copeland, that's not what she asked. So listen to what she asked and then answer that as best you can.
You're saying you gave Threat that Infinity. Is that what you're saying?
Hold on 1 second. Y'all just confused me. What you say, Yana?
Well, I wanted Ms. Hilton to ask the question clearly and you listen to it and answer it. So ask the question you asked him a minute ago if that's what you want the answer to.
The Infinity that you're talking about, is that the Infinity that you went to the Atlanta airport with Thug when he rented the Infinity?
What you asking?
You're talking about an Infinity that you gave to Threat, correct?
Right.
The Infinity that you're referring to, is that the Infinity that you went to the Atlanta airport with Thug when he rented the Infinity?
Yes.
Okay. And that was the car that Thug rented, correct?
I asked him to rent me a car, and I rented the car, and I gave the car to Threat.
When did you give the car to Threat?
The same night I rented it. The night before that happened.
Before what happened?
The same night it happened. I can't remember. I gave the car to Threat, and I left.
Where did you give the car to Threat at?
At the studio.
What studio?
I pulled up and gave it to him and pulled right off.
What studio?
It was by Northside Drive, Marietta. It was one of them streets.
Was there anyone else at the studio when you gave the car to
I
Threat?
didn't go in the studio. I pulled up. I was pulling up, and I seen Threat. I gave Threat the car, jumped out of the car, it got in my called my brother to come and get me.
And was this the date Donovan Thomas died? Was this a few days before? In relation to when Donovan Thomas died, when did you give Threat this vehicle?
I gave Threat that car. I wrecked the car, gave it to Threat.
So when you wrecked the car, why would you give Threat a wrecked vehicle?
So I could. What you mean? It wasn't damaged bad. I don't know. I hit something on it, and then shit. The thing on the cover, it was tripping. So when I pulled up, I wasn't giving it to Threat, but I just seen him standing outside. And I was like, he like, what you about to do? I'm like, just get the key real quick. I'll be right back. Gave Threat the car, and I dipped. I don't know if it was late. So when I woke up the next day, I came outside, and this when I heard what happened.
Okay.
All right, Ms. Hilton, is this a good time to
Yes,
stop
it's a good
for the
time to
day?
stop.
All right.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Copeland, we'll see you back here at 9 in the morning.
9.
9 in the morning.
I can go?
Yeah, you can go for now. All right, ladies and gentlemen. To maintain the integrity of this trial, remember that you need to decide this case based only on the evidence that is admitted during this trial and the law that I will explain to you. You should consider only the evidence admitted inside of this courtroom. You may not conduct any research on your own about this case or about any of the people or the places mentioned in this trial. You may not visit any places mentioned in the evidence, and you may not refer to any books or documents that have not been admitted during the trial. You should not take or review any photographs or video of any person or place involved in this case, except to review the evidence during your deliberations later. Also, you may not use any dictionaries or any other reference materials, including online reference materials, to help you in any way with this case. You may not use Google or any other internet search engine, or consult websites, blogs, podcasts, any social media websites, apps, including but not limited to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, TikTok, Reels, Twitch, YouTube, Kick, Reddit, or the like. I'm sure I left out a few, but any of those. Or any other source, electronic or otherwise, to get information about this case. And do not use any of these sources to get information about legal terms or concepts or about the law. Finally, do not watch, read, or listen to any accounts of this trial that might appear in the news media, whether online, in print, on television, on the radio, or otherwise. And this includes any social media as well. In short, do not seek any information about this case from any source outside of the confines of this courtroom. Remember, you are the ones who've been qualified as fair and impartial jurors to decide this case, and no other influence should affect your decision. For that reason, you may not discuss this case with anyone, including your family and friends, or let anyone discuss this case with you or around you. This includes discussion or sharing information in person or by phone, email, text, blog, or any form of social media. And if anyone does approach you about the case, please immediately let Sergeant Ingram or another deputy or court staff know that. Please remember that you should consider the evidence with an open mind, do not jump to conclusions, and do not reach any final conclusions until this trial is complete. And by that I mean until the deliberations begin, after you've heard all of the evidence, the lawyer's closing arguments, and the law that applies to this case. You must not, until that time, even discuss the case amongst yourselves in the jury room, during breaks, or anywhere else. Please remember to leave your notes and notepads in the jury room as you leave for the evening. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and we will see you at 9 a.m. in the morning. Thank you. You're excused for now.
All right, jury.
All right, y'all can be seated. I'm going to have Ms. Percival double check and confirm with the jurors their understanding of what days next week they were released. I thought it was Monday through Thursday, but I just want to make sure that they don't think they're also off Friday. I got told that maybe the one juror who's taking her kid to school might be doing the whole drive back on Thursday, so I'm just going to double check on that. But I am planning for us to work pretty much the whole week next week, just as a non-jury week. If it turns out that they are ready to come back on Friday or think that that's when they were being called back anyway, then that'll be a jury day for us. But otherwise, at least it'll be Monday through Thursday non-jury, and we'll just see about Friday based on what they think. I'll just go with whatever they have already been told by the predecessor judge. All right, so I know there are some things we need to deal with next week. I know, Misty Williams, you have sent a more particularized motion to suppress, so I appreciate that. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but we'll take that up. There's a motion to exclude late identified, I guess, co-conspirator statements that we'll take up then. If we're lucky, we can get to what everybody understands the exhibit list admissions are. I don't think that's the most critical thing to do, but if we get around to it, we need to have confirmation on the motion in limine 49 concerning the PowerPoint. Do y'all have an answer to that yet?
Your Honor, I don't. My answer is preliminary. I just remember what I said, and it was not contained in, partially contained in the motion in limine. So we are looking back at the transcript and the video because my recollection of it is different than what's being represented in motion in limine number 49. And mine was specifically that we were not intending to introduce it at that time through that witness. So, and that day. So we're going back.
All right.
Because
so you think that it's possible that you didn't actually say we don't ever want to introduce it or use it? You think it may have just been...
I know I didn't say that we don't ever want to introduce it.
All right, and so then it sounds like there's still going to need to be a ruling on that because y'all do want to introduce that?
We do want to use that. We intended, that's why we gave it to them. We were going to use it through Detective Dennis at the end of the Donovan Thomas and at the end of the retaliatory shootings.
All right, and I know that I've got the defense position on that. I don't know if you had said that you filed a written response ever.
I did, but to his number 49, I will file a written response because when we got that, we were looking through, like, that's not the recollection that I have. We were looking through to make sure that he had contained, and it doesn't. His motion does not contain the entirety of what was said in that colloquy, and the matter of the PowerPoint was addressed on 2 different days, I believe.
Okay, so, well, just get that in sometime this week. So that's another thing we can deal with and resolve next week. I know we still have wiretap evidence outstanding that we need to reach at some point. I think that's everything other than we need to have a date for the remedial training. And Ms. Love, if you can provide to the court the identity of all of the team members, at least the lawyer team members, and if you want to have investigators or anybody else participate in the remedial training, that's up to you, but at least all of the lawyers that are on this team. And I am thinking, I know I have got a conflict Monday morning, Monday the 19th, between 8 and 12. I'll be here for the afternoon. And I'm thinking if that would be an ideal time to do that, I'm just thinking y'all come into the courtroom, there'll be a deputy. You can sit and watch the video and be done with it.
Yes, Your Honor, we can do that. We can do whatever it is at the court.
All right, please. That sounds good. So anyway, that's what I know scheduling wise for now. If anybody has any issues or can think of anything else that I didn't just touch on that we also need to take up next week. Okay. All right, and then just as a heads up, you know, in terms of scheduling, oh, hang on. All right. So looking ahead just a little bit. Next week, we've already discussed. The week after that begins the 26th, we will be in court, I imagine, with the jury, the 26th, 27th, and 28th. That's Monday through Wednesday. The 29th and 30th, the court has plans because the court was not always assigned to this case, and the court's not changing those plans. The court needs a break every once in a while. So we are going to have Thursday the 29th and Friday the 30th off entirely. That's Labor Day weekend. We have the Monday off anyway because that's Labor Day. So y'all can choose to also take a break. You can choose to work the entire time. You can choose to make some other judge's day by actually being able to have a day with them in court. That's up to y'all, but y'all do not have to be with me on August 29th and 30th. All right. And that's what I know at this point in time. All right. Anything else before we break for the evening? Yes, ma'am.
I just want to get clarification on the timeline of the witness and exhibit list that state's supposed to turn into us, and whether you want our motions after they give it to us or you want us to file it now.
What do you mean?
Because like my Jackson Denham motion,
Yeah.
I filed it late because I didn't know until July 31st that they were going to use that interview.
I'm not sure that, okay, I mean, if that's what you say, great. You didn't know for certain, but I mean, Jackson Denos are normally a pretrial thing, and y'all can get with the state and ask them anytime. But as soon as you know that there might be an issue with something and you know about it, you just go ahead and let me know. And if we get around to it and the state says, we don't even want to use that because you haven't bothered to ask the state yet or for whatever reason, then we won't worry about it. But yeah, don't wait. Don't wait. Go ahead and file everything. Everything should already have been filed. But yeah, so on the timing.
I did ask the state, and they said they weren't going to use it.
All right. Well, we'll take that up next week. All right. I will see. Anything else? All right. I'll see all of y'all at 8:45 because inevitably there's something that we need to sort out or put on the record or something before the jury gets in. See y'all tomorrow. Thanks.